Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, March 7th, 2022, and it's the afternoon, so the lighting is a little bit different than usual, but it's better than this morning. I have a new phone that I got yesterday, and I just assumed the camera would be even better than my camera on my last phone, but they had some setting on it that made it autocorrect, I suppose, and when I went to download it to my computer, everything was completely washed out. You couldn't see any colors. Like my shirt was blue, but pretty much everything else was black and white. Horrible, unwatchable. I'm showing you my projects. You got to see the colors. So anyways, take two. I do have a couple things. I'll probably put in some clips. I have the giveaways from last week. And since I did that on camera live on my iPad, I don't want to have to redo that. So I'm going to put in a clip here of the giveaways. First off, I'm going to do the giveaway from last week. So I have 2 copies of the Oh Dear pattern. So let's draw some winners for that one. I did pull up the YouTube comment picker. There were 83 entries. Yeah. And let's see who wins the first one. Christina France, congratulations. She votes for starting the Honeybee, which is the Mill Hill spring kit that I will, if I can finish Hummingbird in the month of March, I'll start a new one. And Hummingbird, Honeybee, and the Spring Bluebird were neck and neck last I checked. So I'll probably wait until I'm actually ready to start and then see what the tally says, because it's gonna be close. Oh Dear is absolutely adorable. One of many on my wish list. So yay! Congratulations, Christina. And then we're gonna pick another one because I have 2. Oh, Rachel Q Stitches. Yay, congratulations. I love your prim blocks. The deer is adorable. Congratulations. I watch your videos. So yay, that's fun. And so both of you, and then this next one, let me know your mailing address from my email, stitchinmommy7@gmail.com, or private message me on Instagram. Either one of those works. And let's do the next one. Prim, which was the set of 12. Prim Stitch series patterns. So there's a bunch of these, but one person's gonna get all of them. And there were 112 comments for that. So let's see who gets that one. Smiling Daisy, that's a fun name. I love watching your progress. I'm loving your typewriter style of stitching. Yay, thank you. I would love to stitch deer or prim. Have a great day. Yay! So congratulations, Smiling Daisy. You too can let me know your mailing address, and I will hopefully get these out this week sometime. So that was fun. So congratulations, everybody. So go ahead and get a hold of me for your mailing addresses, and yay, that's exciting. And then another clip that I forgot to even mention last time, so second time's a charm here, is my daughter made a little felt elephant from a crafting magazine, and I helped her with it, of course, but it turned out super cute. So I filmed a little clip on Sunday because we gave it away already. It was basically a Saturday, Sunday project, so there was just no lead time. And anyways, here's a clip to show what that looks like. So I have a quick update because we're gonna give this away, but my daughter, we were given this magazine by somebody at my church, and it's issue 127, Molly Makes, and my daughter fell in love with these little guys, and she wanted to make one for a new baby at our church, and so she was after me, and we eventually did. So here's ours. Isn't he adorable? So my daughter did this mostly on her own. It's made out of felt, just regular craft store felt, not fancy stuff, and embroidery floss. So the seams are a little more distinct than the ones in the picture, but that's okay. I started and stopped her threads for her, and I did these French knot eyes, and I attached the head to the body and the ears and the arms, but she did like all of the seams for the head and the body and stuffing everything and the arms, like around the arms, all the whip stitching she did. And the little guy turned out so cute. She decided she didn't really care about the pants overalls, so we weren't going to do that. This is the baby one. It's actually pretty good, similar size to that. So, and she actually made this as well in brown, but I think she's keeping that one. It looks like a Teddy Graham. It's so small. So anyways, since we're probably going to give this away this morning, I thought I'd come in here and show you because it's adorable. And it took away some Saturday stitching time. So there you go. So there you go. That was fun. Now we can delve in and I'll show you all this stuff for the second time. But for you, it will be the first time. So, travel stitching. And hopefully the lighting will be much improved. I did a little test and it seems like this is going to be normal now. So my regular temperature piece that I'm doing this year with this year's temperatures is my Wander With Me design with kitty paws. There's also a dog paws. Walk With Me. And I got one more paw stitched and a start on the yarn ball. So this is 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha, 1/1, full crosses. And I got this paw done right here. It's starting to warm up again, but then I think it cooled down again after that, but it's kind of up and down, up and down. And last night when we were watching a show, I was working on my temperature butterflies and I finished February. I was going to move on to start working on more outlines on the March block, the March butterfly. And I didn't have any dark gray in my project bag, and Smokey had just come up on my lap. And I didn't have the heart to move her. So I went ahead and came back over here and started working on the yarn ball. So that's on my needle. You'll probably see more of that next time because I'll probably just finish it before I move on to take the thread off my needle. So I suppose I could park it and do a paw if I really don't have time to do the yarn ball, but I'll probably will. So that's fun. And speaking of my butterflies, I finished February, which was very exciting. Now I can move forward into the March butterfly. This is also another one of my designs, temperature butterflies. And I'm doing this for the year 2002. So I can do a whole month at a time. So what I'm doing, here's where it's at now. This is 32 count mystery gray green even weave, 1/1 full crosses. And there's February all done. And yeah, I was going to keep going on the March outline and was not able to, but I rectified the situation. I have more gray in my project bag for the future. So these two were like the brightest color so far of this year. This range is not one of the given ranges in the, oh, my needle fell off. Glad I saw that. The range I'm using, the symbol for the symbol key is not the same as any of the ones that I include in the pattern because I knew all of the temperatures for this historical year. So I went ahead and just took the highest high and the lowest high and kind of just spread out all the colors amongst all those temperatures. And so some of these coldest ones are colder than my coldest one on the hot temperature, which is symbol key range, which is one I usually use. So everything is a little bit different than I'm used to, which is, it's making it kind of interesting to do. And the hottest color of this year was 103, which is a little cooler than in recent years. So yeah, so it's going to be weird to have some of the warmer colors come sooner, I guess, than I might normally expect. So anyways, that's that one. It's going well. My travel piece that I'm doing in the pickup line for the school is Year in Stitches by the Victoria Sampler. This was a mystery stitch along in their Facebook group last year, and now they're releasing it once a month on their website for sale. in the creative designs section, and I have that linked below. January and February are released, and it seems like they're releasing them about the middle of each month. So March is not yet out yet, but I got mine last year while when they were being released. I just didn't stitch them right away and thought it would be a fun stitch along for this year. So I already worked on this today, so you get to see last week's progress plus today's progress because I worked on it since I saw you during take one. So here is this so far, and I'll get up close for the march to do a before and after. This is on 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, mostly 2/2. The specialty stitches are usually 1 strand. These are a 2-strand satin stitch on these shamrocks. There's also a little specialty stitch along here. I had this green done last week, but then today I only had half the roof finished. So today I finished the roof, did this tree and this birdhouse post, and then started this tree. So it's super cute. I love these. These are really fun and colorful. You pick your own colors as part of the creative designs aspect of these. So you just pick what you like. I picked roughly 2 shades of each color, so like 2 pinks, 2 blues, 2 greens, that kind of thing, in all the colors, just to have a palette to work from so that the whole thing kind of flows and works together. I am finding that I might need to add a few things here and there. So like in February, I realized I didn't have a good color for skin, so I went and found a new fancy floss that would work for skin. And then I had this one. I'm concerned about the chimney and the door. I'm thinking I might just make the door red because that's classic. In this it looks like a dark red, which I don't really have a dark red. I just had 1 red and then 2 pinks because I didn't notice this before. The chimney, I'm thinking I might make dark orange, maybe light orange or gray. I'm not really sure yet because I'd like to stick with my original palette. I don't think I want to add any more colors. I don't, yeah, I mean, there's some down here in the October one that could maybe work with that burnt orange color, but I don't know, a brick red color. I think I might just use what I have, and just make it work. That's kind of the idea of those designs. Anyways, so, my Mill Hill I worked on last week. I also worked on, I will hopefully work on it today, this afternoon, but since I'm filming right now, we'll see. I would like to get to it this afternoon. So here is where I got to. And this is Hummingbird it's a Buttons and Beads kit. I think I forgot to show you the cover picture. Ta-da! I did a little bit more down here, I think, and then I started in and did some of this blue up here as well. I had a vote up last week for which one of these I should start next, and it's really close so far. The honeybee and the spring bluebird are kind of neck and neck. So I think I'll just leave that open, and if I get more opinions trickling in over the next week or two, I will continue to tally it up, and then when I'm ready to start, I will use that as my final tally vote for you guys to pick which one I should start, because I want to start a spring themed Mill Hill if I can finish Hummingbird in the month of March, because there's a couple people starting a Spring into Mill Hill hashtag in March, so I thought that'd be fun to participate. So this week I started out working on Colors of the Seasons, which is this one. I hope I brought everything back up here that I had the first time. I've been working on winter. It took me longer than I expected, which I kind of knew it would. I originally had planned to work on this the whole week, but the March Madness bracket kind of took over and took a couple days away from what I was maybe originally going to do. So I worked on this a little bit as well for bonus stitching in the afternoon on some of the days, and I also worked on it when I was talking to my friends and my sister during calls. I was really trying to get some more of it done. It's still not done, so I think I will continue to pull it out during phone calls and stuff, just to get it done. So you'll probably see this again, hopefully see this again next week with maybe more done, or maybe this quadrant will be finished. So here's winter. This is also on the same 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha, and it's 2/2. And I finished all the cross stitching in the girl, which is very fun. There's a little bit of back stitching in her hat and the bottom of her dress. He'll have a smile, and I need to fill in his tummy, obviously. And then there'll be a little bit of back stitching around the scarf. The snowflakes all have a little bit of white back stitching to make more details. I'll be putting a heart here. There's a little more snow here too, and then this heart will shift over to center since I counted wrong right here. Yeah, so it's coming along. I kind of wish I had more time on it, but I make too many plans to work on everything as much as it probably should be worked on. So it's still coming along. So hopefully I can maybe pull this out a couple times this week and maybe at least finish his tummy and maybe do the back stitching later. I'm not sure. So starting on Thursday, I started to work on my March Stitchy Madness bracket, which is based on the idea of the NCAA tournament in basketball, which they have a really big bracket of basketball games. I have a small bracket. There's only the version I'm doing. It's based on the Steel City Stitchers version. I have their bracket that I'm writing on, but I think some of them are doing it this way, but some of them are doing it a different way. My version, I have 8 projects. I'm working on all 8 for one day. Once I have a day's project on the first 2, then I'll put a poll up on Instagram for you guys to say which one you want to see advance to the next round and get some more work. So for me, each round means that project is going to get another day of work. So overall, it'll be about 15 days of project progress on various pieces. So I have started it. We've had 1 round of voting complete, and there's one poll up on Instagram right now with the second game to vote on. So run over. I don't know when this video is going to go up, if I'll be able to get it up before I go to bed tonight, but the voting for this one will stop on tomorrow morning-ish. So we'll see if you'll get there in time. What did I work on? Sampler of Stitches was the very first one I did. That's this one by the Drawn Thread. And all of my projects that I chose for this bracket are ones that I want to work on significantly in this month. So even if they don't get picked, I will bring them out again later in the month to do a little bit more on them to try to finish my goals. So this is the part that I'm currently working on. I'm working up in the letter D, using all the called for items. So this is the 30 count custard cream linen, and that's where I got to. Not a ton. I think it was a little over an hour, probably hour and a half maybe. I worked over here in the D and put in a few little blocks of specialty stitches and started in on this ginormous D. The A, B, C were like evenly spaced throughout the block, but this one, D is big and E is little, and then F is about the same size as these, I think. So I'm hoping to get a lot done on this month. I'd like to get the whole D, E, F done, which seems really daunting at this point, but we'll see. So that's fun to work on. I like trying all the new stitches. And the other one, the next one I worked on is my rendition of Amazing Grace, based on the My Big Toe Designs pattern with these elements, but then I made it smaller with some backstitch lettering because I didn't want it to take forever. Where is this one? So this got another hour and a half or so. This is on 28 count. Ivory Jobelin, 1/1, full cross. And yeah, so I was able to finish this motif with these sprigs of greenery and flowers down at the bottom of the pot, and then started this motif with the leftover thread. And then I got started on this third verse, which will be right here. So my goal for March is to finish the third verse and like half of this cross motif. So still have a ways to go on this one for my March goal. With the bracket voting, I had this one up against Sampler of Stitches. I had these two up against each other, and it was pretty much the same consistent percentages the entire time. I kept checking it and being like, did anyone new vote? Because the percentages are exactly the same. And I looked in the statistics, and yes, more people had voted, but it was consistently 65 for Sampler of Stitches and 35 for Amazing Grace. So Sampler of Stitches won, moved forward into round 2. So I will work on this again on Friday. Will be the beginning of round 2. So that's fun. And then on Saturday, I worked on Letter F Fairy. This next bracket is 2 family pieces that I want progress on. This is one for my niece by Letter F by Nora Corbett. And here is where I got to on her. She's on the called for 32 count water lily linen, and I started in on her wing. It's not finished, but you can see the sparkle. So what I like to do with my wings, it's not charted this way, but I use the 2 strands of cotton thread that I've chosen for the wing, and then I add 1 strand of blending filament. And it makes it sparkle. And the blending filament I have is like a blue gold. It's mostly blue with little, like it has veins of gold and different things in there. But you could do like a plain gold or iridescent filament or something, whatever you have. It's just what I happen to have. And I'm like, yeah, that'll work for fairy wings. Sure. So I was not very picky. So whatever you have will work, I'm sure. But that's kind of my trick for sparkly wings. And then my second one I worked on yesterday is By the Window in the Morning, which is my anniversary piece. And I've done a lot of changes on it. It's now a nighttime scene with stars and dark blue in the window. A lot of the colors are toned down a little bit. And one change I worked on this time is I took his hand away. I thought that was kind of creepy and weird that he was holding her book. And someone mentioned a while back that they thought maybe she'd fallen asleep and he was moving her book for her. I don't like that idea because the whole point is that we're both reading. And the quote I'm going to include by Ernest Hemingway is implying that we're reading books together. So I needed to move his hand because I didn't like that. So I'm re-stitching the pillow and his arm and the book, filling up the space where his fingers would have been, and then they're just not there anymore. So let's see. This one is on, this is where this one's at. This is 18 count beige Devosa. Not 100% sure of the color name. That's just what I'm calling it. And got a little bit, an hour and a half or so on this one. Got all the cross stitching done in that pillow and in that pillow, and started in more of on her book. There's a tiny bit of her headband. A little bit of the white over here in the couch too. So no back stitching this time on this day, simply because there wasn't really enough of a area to backstitch that would make it worthwhile. Like I could backstitch this pillow maybe, but then there wouldn't be that many stitches. It might not be worth threading my needle. So I'll wait until I have a bigger chunk. I do want to get at least 2 more days on this in March, so if it does not advance to the next round, I'll bring it back later in the month. And my goal then will be to work on her, you know, the rest of the book, her face and hand and hair, you know, so they can get this area a little bit more finished, because I think that's my favorite right now. I could work on couch because that's like the next highest place, but it's more like my focus, like a Mirabilia, get the faces finished. So that's kind of my thought on that one. Yeah, so the voting is currently up as I am making this video. Whether or not it will still be up when I post the video remains to be seen. But the voting for this one, between this one and Letter F Fairy, is underway. So whichever one of those wins, I'll work on that on Saturday. And starting today, I will work on my next set. So hopefully I'll have time to pull out Winter Rose. This is by Lavender and Lace. This next bracket is my 2 Fancy Lady Whip Go pieces that were drawn for the month of March. And this is where this one's at now. I think it's like a vintage Misty Rain in 46 count linen. I'm not 100% sure. It's really tiny. It's 1/2, and the stitches end up being like 25 count. So it's really tiny. I have more, like, as you can see, this side comes down farther, so I have more of that to do over here. But it would be nice at some point in the month of March to be able to get to the start of the little girl. There's another bush over here somewhere too. So let's just start working my way down. So again, with my Whip Go goal on these Fancy Ladies is 3 days. So if something manages to push through the bracket for 3 days, then the Whip Go goal is finished. But if it doesn't get picked on the first or second day, it's going to need a day or two later in the month, and I am planning to do that. So I have most of 2 weeks to play with at the end of the month to make sure all these goals will eventually get met, even if they don't make it in the bracket. Never fear. So my other Whip Go Fancy Lady is Summer Queen by Mirabilia. And this is the Mirabilia Queen I have that's the least complete. I have Spring and Autumn completed on my wall. I also have Royal Holiday. And Winter Queen has started, and I have her head done. Summer Queen, because I just saw it earlier today, I have half her face and just little bits throughout here. So it's definitely needs some attention. So it should get 3 days here in the month of March at some point. So here she is now. She is on 32 count Oyster linen by MCG Textiles. And I started in the middle and worked my way up. So it's just random chunks of color until I get to the top of her head, and then I'm working on her face. Her eye is backstitched and her eyebrow, but the rest of it definitely needs to get finished. So that's goal number 1, is to finish her face. And then I'll probably work on more skin and then hair and things like that. So yay! So those 2 I'll get a day, I'll work on her tomorrow, and then there'll be a poll going up probably Wednesday morning to vote on the 2 different Fancy Ladies. And then whichever one of those wins, I will work on that next Sunday, or on Sunday. And then the last game in the first round of the Elite 8 is my full coverage pieces. So the first full coverage piece of Whip Go that was drawn for March was my needlepoint kit, Friends of the Library, which I needed to rechart. So if you'll notice, I didn't show any progress on Knitting Woman this week. And that's because I spent a lot of my free time, my afternoon time when I'd normally be working on a bonus piece, I was recharting this chunk by chunk, stitch by stitch into my pattern charting software. And it's finally done. I'm so excited. And I went in even, and this is tapestry wool. It's not cotton. cotton embroidery floss. So there was no online conversion between Bucilla, tapestry wool, and DMC. So I just laid them out on my lap and kind of picked from my master set what colors I thought looked best. So that was kind of a process too. But happy to say it is done. So I will be restarting this on Wednesday. Here's my rechart version. And I think it's toner save mode, but yeah, it's done. So the pattern, the back stitching won't show up in Pattern Keeper, but everything else is compatible. My whip go goal for my full coverage pieces is 1,000 stitches. So I'm really curious to see how much 1,000 stitches will get on something that's not that big. It's actually kind of small. So I am planning to stitch it on this off-white 18 count Aida that I've had forever. It's like unopened, I think. And so I still have yet to cut my piece off of here. I thought 18 count would be a nice size count fabric for this because of the back stitching and details that are added. I didn't want it to be really tiny because then the details wouldn't have the right ratio. So I figured 18 count it is. So that's yet to be cut, but I'll do that at some point here in the next few days. At the very least on Wednesday when I'm supposed to be working on that. And then the one it'll go up against, my final project for the bracket, is End of the Ball by Golden Kite. This is my other Whipco draw for the month of March. So I hope to get 1,000 stitches on this one as well. And this one is worked on 24 count Congress cloth. And this is how far I am on that right now. And as you can see, I kind of started in the corner and picked colors and worked my way out from the corner. But then later, the most recent time, I think I started doing my typewriter method where I was kind of picking colors across the top. So these blotches here, I believe, are part of the people, which is really cool. So I could work my way to try to get to the other side here, or I could maybe focus in on some of these colors. So it might depend on which colors might get me more stitches more quickly. So we'll have to wait and see what I do with that one. But that's pretty fun. This is like the curtain draping right here. Here's the needle minder I was given that kind of goes with it. And this is like the curtain right here that divides the room from the other people dancing and then them. So yeah, that's a fun one. 2/1 half stitches. I don't know if I said that. On the 24 count Congress cloth in ivory, I think. It looks beige, but I think technically it's called ivory. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'll work on that for one day at least, and then do my sampler of stitches, which on Friday, which is my first project that's advancing to the next round. I'll show you my bracket here. This is the Steel City Stitchers bracket that they have linked on. They have a March Madness video that they put out, and it's linked in there. And so this one, I have all my stats. There were 271 votes total, and then that was how many votes for each one, and then the percentages for each one, and this one has advanced. So by the time I see you next, I'll know the results of this one, which will be over here, and I will actually have worked on these again for another day when I see you next, as well as the winner of this one. So it's kind of crazy how quickly it will go. And then the winner of these will be worked on next Monday. So I'll know the winner, but I will not have done the second day on that one. So every like 2 days, I'll put up a new poll. So be looking for that. I'll have the poll up. There's a poll currently up, and then I'll do the Fancy Lady poll on Wednesday morning probably, and the full coverage poll will go up on Friday morning probably, and then the round 2 poll will go up on probably Sunday morning, so, or Sunday afternoon. So anyways, that's that, and hopefully the lighting is better on this video, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy what you're working on, and happy stitching. Bye.